be a beautiful day at Ben Davis High School on Friday, and a big chance for the boys to prove themselves among the state's best track and field athletes, taking place for the 117th time in history. For our purposes, we're focusing on 7 teams from the Fort Wayne area, and out of all those teams, Leo performed the best on Friday. Headlined individually by senior Luigi Rivas, but his start to the evening was tough. The 110 hurdles, also featuring Angola senior Garrett Sauter, saw both advance into the finals, Sauter qualifying by only 0.02 of a second. Rivas came into the meet following a regional title that gave him the 3rd best time in the state. But about 50 meters into Friday's race, he's tripped up and takes a major tumble. He was definitely banged up after this and shaken up. Truly a gut punch for the senior. Sauter ended up in 7th with a time of 14.95. Rivas, because he was in the finals, was still on the medal stand. He got 9th place. And he had a chance to redeem himself in the 300 hurdles. He took full advantage. Definitely still limping up to that starting line. You see Rivas finish toward the top of his heat right here. That's the fast one. And he ended up on the podium once again, this time coming in 4th place. Rivas finished his final individual race as a Leo Lion with a time of 38.92 in the 300 hurdles. And that there is a turnaround.
He's tough, he doesn't quit, and he's a great athlete, and we're glad that he was able to take home 3 medals today.
Also a part of the 300 hurdles race was Carroll Jr. Xander Sauter. He clipped a couple hurdles earlier on, but as you can see, really pushed himself as the race went along. He finished in 40.53 seconds, good for 14th place in the state. So Coach Waybright mentioned Rivas medaled 3 times. He ran a huge leg for his team in the 4x4 relay. In the second heat, not even the best one, Rivas took a handoff from fellow senior Jackson Ringwood and brought the Lions back to the top of that heat. The third leg kept him in it, and junior David Slick shifted that momentum back to Leo by passing 3 guys, and it looks like they won their heat there. Regardless, the time was good enough for 9th place, so yes, there's another medal. The Lions finished the 4x4 in 3:24.44. Actually, 2 SAC teams competed in that race too, one in the heat before Leo and one in the heat after. Concordia went before, and after a slow exchange, their second leg was pretty strong too. Here's junior Xander Pratt doing what he can do to help the cause. Ultimately, the cadets finished in 16th place, not bad. Their time, 3:26.49. Northrop, the final team we'll mention in the 4x4. The Bruins started to find their groove in that event this postseason, eventually winning a regional title. But it didn't appear that way on Friday. They fell behind early and flirted with last place in that top heat until senior Darius Sanders kicked it into gear on the final 50 meters or so. Overall, the Bruins finished that event in a time of 3:30.32. But we still got to talk about Leo, because that wasn't even their best relay. That would be the 4x8, where they competed in the second of 2 heats. And after the first handoff, they were in 2nd place, but in the middle legs, they fell back just a bit. Junior Tyler Hartlerow with the push at the end, though, see it right here, and the Lions' finish was good enough for 6th place. They finished in just under 8 minutes at 7:59.67, and that means every Leo runner medaled on Friday, ending a sensational season.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best team we've had at Leo ever. The highest finished sectionals and regionals we've ever had, and you know that goes to the coaches and the athletes for putting in the time and the effort, and couldn't be more proud of the effort that they put in, and the guys that we have, and the coaches that we have. So it's been a good year.
In that same heat with the Lions was Concordia, the regional champ in the 4x8. The cadets also competed in that top heat, but didn't have near as much success as Leo in it, finishing in 8:13.79 and earning 16th place in the state. Still not too shabby. Actually, a few spots ahead of Concordia on the final scoreboard was Northrop. The Bruins competed in that quote-unquote slower heat, but they made the most of their opportunity. Another strong second leg, seeing a lot of those. This time it came from senior Connor Jackson. That brought them back from the basement here. Senior Jonah Lemon maintains, and ultimately the Bruins finished 3rd in their heat and 13th overall with a time of 8:08.94. And we might as well just round out the relays, right? In the 4x1, the sprint relay, it was Snyder, the sprint studs of the SAC this year. Here's the Panther anchor senior Tavarius Jones finishing it out. This was in the first heat of 2. Their finish in 44.29 seconds earned them 25th place in the state, and it's only fitting Jones finished out that race for them. Also in that race was Carroll, but according to the final score sheet, they, quote, never passed the baton. Snyder's Jones was actually the only Fort Wayne area sprinter to make it to state for the 100-meter dash, and here he is hustling in his heat. TT's time was good enough for 11th place in the state, and it stands at 11.18 seconds. In the 200-meter dash, we saw Concordia's Pratt. He was the only area guy competing in that event at Ben Davis High School on Friday. Coming around the bend in the first of 3 heats, here's Pratt's finish that earned him 14th place in the state. Actually one of 4 guys from that opening heat to place top 15. Pretty competitive there. On to the 400-meter dash, where, again, only one SAC boys runner competed. And this event actually happened shortly after the long jump on Friday, where Northrop Sanders really did well. He medaled with a jump of 21 feet, 10.75 inches, and that earned him 9th place. And that's probably why he started experiencing cramps during his 400-meter run. You can really see it affect him here toward the end. 53.65 seconds his time in that event, not close to his best, but that doesn't tarnish anything about his overall season. Remember, even though it was a new race for him this year, you'd never even know.
He went from not ever running the 400, and now he's fifth fastest of all time in Northrop history in track and field, yes. He passed a lot of good people. And I told him, those things you can never take away. All the accomplishments that he did this year, just in 1 year.
Next up, the 800-meter run, where Concordia junior Dan Adair and Northrop's Jackson were up again to compete. Adair, part of that regional champion 4x8 team at Concordia, and he's absolutely booking it out of the gate. Here you see him in first place after that first lap. Jackson a little bit further back, as you can see. In the end, Adair got caught up to just enough to not win his heat. He got second there by 0.16 of a second. Overall, he placed 9th, so he got a medal, coming after a time of 1:55.25. Jackson, on the other hand, got 17th place in the state. Nothing to scoff at for sure. His time was 1:58.23. And now the longer distance events, starting with the mile. Representing Fort Wayne in this one, Carroll Jr. Preston Slofer and senior Tyler Strothman of Concordia. Here they are after 1 lap, both right in the middle of that pack, but then Slofer is the one to make a move. He finds his way to 5th and stays there through 3 laps. Strothman a little bit further back, but by the end it doesn't appear that Slofer had enough in the tank. He falls out of medal contention and ultimately finished in 11th place in the state with a time of 4:23.09. Strothman only a few spots behind on the score sheet. He got 18th place in Indiana by posting a time of 4:28.10. And finally, the 2-mile race, in which Angola junior Isaiah Sturry took home a regional title last week. Sturry actually set a regional record in the mile in that same meet, but he chose to only compete in the 2-mile race at state. And the former cross-country state champ looked the part right away. After 1 lap, he was right there at the front of the pack. Middle of lap 3, though, Sturry gets passed. See it right there? He fell back slightly to 4th after 4 laps, but regained that 3rd place position in lap 5. Final lap, still fighting for 3rd, and in the end, he got 4th place with a time of 9:13.81. Also competing in that 2-mile was Concordia junior Karsten Schlegel. Schlegel was kind of caught in that mess of men in the middle that entire race, and eventually finished with the 18th best time in the state, 9:41.68. So those are all the running events. In the field, we had 2 area guys in the pole vault. One was Leo sophomore Semi Kosei, who got this jump of 12.6 no problem. That was his only successful jump of the day, which means he got 21st in the state in that event. Now, Homestead's Eli Griffin is a freshman fighting for his chance at a place in the state meet, but didn't make it there by completing a jump, unfortunately. Really in a lot of pain, you can see. Griffin came out a little cold after some rain delayed the regional meet last week, and before he finished 2nd in the regional, he tweaked his hamstring, and that flared up again during his jump on Friday. Yes, it's tough he couldn't compete like he wanted, but again, he's only a freshman, and his future is bright.
He said, well, this is going to be motivation for me for next year. So I'm excited for him, for the wonderful season that he's had, the things that he's done for our program and as a young man, and also getting down here to state. And we look forward to being down here for 3 more years after this.
Rounding out the state competitors from the Fort Wayne area, Carroll Jr. Aaron Jacque placed 22nd in the state discus competition with a throw of 139.01. And Angola senior Tim McComber placed 16th in that same event with a throw of 151.01, and also placed 17th in the shot put by throwing it 50 feet, 11 inches. Along with it being a beautiful day, it was a beautiful way for all these seniors to end their high school careers. As for everyone else, seems pretty likely we could see them right back at this event in 2022. Until then, this has been Blake Baker with Summit City Sports.